How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. This is the Dreo Solaris 718 PTC fan heater. It uses the long fan style blower, so it makes a lot less noise than typical fans. It's a heater, it's a fan, and it also does eco mode, so it'll save energy. PTC stands for positive temperature coefficient. So the heating elements inside actually have a very low resistance at first. When the heater starts heating up, the resistance in the internal elements increases. So this is self-regulating. If it gets too hot, it just won't let it do it because the internal mechanism does not allow it. Let me go back and unbox this and show you what's included and show you all the features. This is the Solaris 718 PTC fan heater from Dreo. There's a quick start guide and a manual. The remote control, pull the tab. It includes a thing called a Fort plug. Remove the protective cover. Some instructions on a clear sticker. You can shorten the cable by wrapping it around the bottom of the base and then putting it back through this hole here. And now we can have like a 3-foot cable instead. If you look on the inside, there is a long cylindrical fan in there. This type of fan, when it spins, it makes a lot less noise than other types. Towards the top, there's a recessed area and you can use this as a handle to carry this around. I like how the top there's a little hole for your remote. You see those little fins in there, so it'll grip onto your remote and holds it in there. This is a 1500 watt heater, conforms to the UL standard 1278. So this is a UL standard, but ETL tested this UL standard. That's the PTC element. Let's plug it in. It beeps, it turns on, 0 watts right now. It kind of blew a little bit of air and then stopped. Let's turn it on and see how it behaves. It says H5 and we're seeing 1100 watts pulling out of this thing, 1300 watts. It's ramping up very quickly to 1500 watts, 1600 watts, 1700 watts. It's actually higher than I expected. It even says overload on my meter. As this heats up, it's probably gonna come back down. Yep, it's coming back down. So I'm gonna try to change the settings a little bit. Right now it's on H5, which is the highest setting. We can make it oscillate with this button here. That's the farthest on the left, and that's the farthest on the right. Typical timer function, you can turn it off in 1 hour, all the way up to 12 hours. And if you don't want it to turn off at all, you can set it at 0 hours. If you don't like that beeping, you can select the mute button. And then when we do the timer again, it doesn't make all those sounds. There's a little option button. Let's press that. We can change the heating level. This is at 85 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Let me change it to as high as it goes, which is 95. This is just a temperature sensor so that it'll turn off the heater when it's that hot. We can set it at just room temperature or like 72 or something. You can either set it as a heater, you press it again, it goes into eco mode, so it'll save a little bit of energy. Right now we see it at 600 watts instead of the 1300 watts. We go to fan. We can go from fan level 1, 2, or 3 and back to 1, and then press this again to go back to heating. So this button allows you to go from heater mode, eco mode, or fan mode. Finally, we can press the power button to turn it off. There's a countdown timer over here because the heating element inside is very hot. So it's gonna run the fan for what, 30 seconds or so until everything cools down. So it doesn't sit very hot immediately. That's very bad for the electronics. So doing this will extend the life of the heater. So now it turned off on its own. I like seeing that it's consuming 0 watts when it's not doing anything. So very low standby power, less than what this meter can read. And if you don't want the remote to be able to change any kind of settings, maybe there's a cat or something that wants to touch these buttons, you can press these 2 buttons to lock it and it'll say 3, 2, 1, 0, and then now it's locked. So now you can't turn it off. You can't change the settings. It's gonna blink saying, hey, you locked it. However, when you try to use a remote, you can still use it. So it does not lock the remote. It only locks these touch buttons on top. So you can change the oscillation from 60 degrees to 30 degrees if you want, or 0 degrees. I actually wish they allow more granularity, like every 10 degrees or something, or 5 degrees even. But at least you get two options, 30 degrees or 60 degrees. When you turn it on, the ring around the power button will light up. Right now it says the ambient temperature is cold, and this will turn orange when it's a comfortable temperature, orange red when it's warm, and red when it's hot. So it's an ambient temperature sensor. It's on fan mode right now, and the heating elements are relatively cool at 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to change the mode to heating now. Heat 5. Look at that. It turns hot very, very quickly. 91, 98, 105. 125 now, and at the same time we can see it's using 1100 watts. It's less than about 30 seconds, and hot air is coming out already. So it uses a lot more energy in the beginning to heat things up very, very quickly. Right now it's kind of leveling off at 275 degrees. If I change it to heating level 1, the fan is automatically slower, and it also uses less electricity in the heating element at 700 watts. Heating 2 kind of stays around 870 watts. Level 3 stays around 970 watts. Level 4 is around 1100 watts. Level 5 really pushes it a lot, 1750. So it's just a short pulse of high energy just to get things heated up from a cold state. Let's do the tilt test. It should turn off at some point. Right there. Most heaters have tilt detection. Just to turn it off is for safety reasons. After using this, you might wonder, why are not all heaters PTC heaters? Because you just want them to heat up very, very fast right at the very beginning. You want to use it ASAP. The PTC element in this one does that, and this makes it a lot more user-friendly, especially if you only want to turn it on for short periods of time and you do it once a day or something. It makes things a lot more usable. If you guys are interested in this PTC fan heater from Dreo, check out my affiliate link down in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.